Hey, welcome guys. In this video I'm going to teach you how to add a computer fan to your computer case. So let's go on the assumption you have a case something like mine. I do have a fitting here on the exterior of the case where I can add another computer fan right here. So the question is, how do you get the right one? If you're looking for style, for example, like you have RGB lighting, so you can get different type of lighting on your fan, that is purely customization. We're not going to be focusing on that so much, but you do have those abilities to choose those types. So in this assumption, I need to know, okay, what kind of computer fan is going to fit here? Now there's a couple ways to do this. The first is, let's assume that your computer case comes with the manual. It'll tell you the measurements of what kind of computer fan to get. You can go online and buy it. Let's assume that you don't have that resource available when you want to figure out which kind of computer fan size you need to get. Well, it's pretty easy. One thing you could do is take a computer fan out of another portion of the computer, and if it's the same fitting, go to computer shop and be like, hey, I need this exact same fan size. If that's not the case and you have to really do it manually, it's not that bad. It's not that intimidating, okay? But there's a couple of things you have to keep in mind. So in this example, take a handy measuring tape, right? And I'm gonna measure the screw holes here to here. It's going across. You're not gonna measure diagonally, right? In this example, I'm gonna measure here to here, and it's showing as 105 millimeters. And let's say I go to the shop and I find one that's not 105. I find one that's, well, if I measure it down to down, it's measuring at 120. Don't get confused by this, because the reason being is that if you measure it, the actual frame of the fan, you're measuring it from top to bottom of the frame. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be measuring from hole to hole, the screw holes, right? That will measure at 105 millimeters, right? So you're taking away some of that slack. So that's how you're measuring. You're gonna measure where the screws are. Now, the other thing we wanna do is figure out which direction your fan goes in, right? So this is the computer, right? The idea is if you're putting a fan here or on this side or at the back, there's a proper airflow to do this, right? So the idea is you wanna have air coming in from the front, bottom, and going all the way to the top at the back. So it should be going from here up this direction. So the position you put your fan in is going to determine that, right? So how do you do that? How do you figure out which side is which? In some cases, the computer fan itself will tell you that airflow goes in this direction and the fan spin up in this direction. So in this example, I know, okay, if the air is pointing this way, air is going out that way. Simple. What if it doesn't have those arrows? Some of the cheaper fans don't have that. Well, it's still simple. Whatever side has the logo and the frame, see this, the 4 frame brackets right there? That's a better angle. So this frame right there, that's the side air is coming out of. So this is where the logo is, this is where the frame is, air is coming out in this direction. Simple, right? So if we were to put this fan at the front, which way is it gonna go? With the logo facing this way, because air comes this way, exactly, right? So that's how you do it. And then of course you're going to take your computer case in the example. So from here on out, the rest of the steps are fairly easy. I mean, the whole process is pretty easy. You just want to make sure you get the right measurements. The screws that come with the fan itself, you just want to put them on. You can basically see the fan is not aligned right now. I have only one screw in. You're just going to basically align it so it matches with the hole. You're just going to basically screw in at that point. Now, you don't want to tighten it like too tight, like with all your force and strength. That could break the thread and then you have a bigger problem. But you want to give it a tight squeeze, like when you're tightening it up. The reason being is because the fan is rotating at a really high speed. So it's causing a little bit of vibration, of course. You don't want the screws to get too loose, and then of course the fan itself becomes loose from the hinges as well. Some higher end fans will come with special fixtures that will prevent the vibration, but typically a lot of them come with regular screws. Now the last thing to do is to figure out how you want to plug it into power. So it's pretty simple. You have 2 types of pins traditionally. This one, the 3-pin right here, is the type that you plug into your motherboard. So some of the higher end fans will allow you to plug into a motherboard and you can monitor the rotation speed, and it'll detect, hey, is it having any type of wear and tear problems? Is it not performing at the speed that you want it to? You can kind of adjust it from the motherboard level. The other type is just a very simple Molex plug, which will plug in directly to your power supply. All that does is provide power for the fan to work, and that's it. So there's nothing really wrong with having that like that. Since you want more advanced capabilities, you're gonna plug it into your motherboard. And the pins itself are pretty self-explanatory. This one only has 3 pins that can fit into your motherboard, and the Molex is again a very unique type of fitting that can only fit with one type of plug coming out from your power supply. So you plug it in, turn on the computer, and you're set to go. That's pretty much it. That's how you choose the correct fan type size, which direction to put it in, and how to install it into the computer. So I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check my social links in the video description. Subscribe, hit that like button, it does help, and thanks for watching.